The COVID-19 pandemic is upending millions of lives and has devastating health and socioeconomic consequences. In these circumstances, one of the prime objectives of the voluntary sector is to ensure livelihood promotion and income generation activities. Considering these facts, Vishwa Yuvak Kendra, in collaboration with FEVOURD-K, is organizing a webinar on emerging avenues and opportunities for income generation.
If there is a flood, then there is one geography which is affected. But then there is another geography which is not affected. So the geography which is stable is always able to help the flood affected areas. Or if there is a conflict, say for example, in some part of Africa, there is a conflict, but then there are other parts of Africa which does not have a conflict. So there is always some stable space for help and response and relief and resources to come from. Say, for example, in West Bengal, there is flood. Every year there is flood in West Bengal. Every year there is flood in Assam. But if there is flood in one of the district can support, if there is a flood in total district, then the state can support. If there is a flood, the whole state is hit by flood or drought, then the center is supporting. If the country is in trouble, then the IMF is supporting. Why I say this is unprecedented is that there is no stable space for us to fall back on. There is no untouched state, no untouched country, no untouched agency who can come to anybody's support. So it has to be our own ideas and our own resources that we will have to do this thing. We cannot hope for money or people or skills or technology to come in from other places, because every place for the first time in our lives, every place is equally affected. So the state is affected, the country is affected, the entire world is affected. It has never been like this even during the world wars, because there were always some countries which were outside the war or too far away from the war. The second challenge that has emerged almost immediately as countries went into lockdown is the impact that this has had on our markets. Yes, almost everything has impact on markets, but never possibly post the Second World War, this is the kind of impact that we are seeing on the markets, where the whole market has shrunk. And all of you are now, you can see in the newspapers and on the websites also, people are beginning to talk about how GDP is going to shrink. So the shrinking of GDP means there's simply less work happening, and there's less money in the system. So it is not that the stock markets are affected and one component of money is less. It is the fact that the whole system is now a smaller system. You also have to understand that the impact on the market is a very important aspect of the pandemic. Not only on the scale of the market, but also on the purchasing power. So, and this has a direct impact on livelihoods, because what this will tend to do is make all our earlier models of livelihood more irrelevant. They will not now have a relevance because there is no market for the goods that we are producing. Planning. An interesting aspect of this also is the fact that our own livelihoods are at stake. Because all of us know that funding has gone down in most sectors. Now, of course, there is some money coming in as relief funds, but all of us are not experts on working with COVID relief. There are experts amongst us on a whole range of topics in the development sector, but there's not going to be much money available for all of that. In fact, there's so many of us are losing jobs. These are all issues that we will have to deal with. And I think there are many, many more complicated issues, but somewhere or the other, all those issues will come back to these two things. One is that the whole world stands affected, and the second is markets across the world stand affected. There are three things that I would suggest that all of us do as we move forward, specifically to do with livelihoods. The first thing, point number one, innovate. You have to innovate. You have to find different ways of innovating in the way you work, innovating with the kind of resources you use to those projects on the field, innovate in networking, in the kind of platforms that you build to deliver this work on the field once you feel that you have done enough of innovation. Second thing to do is innovate even more. You have to continue to keep your ideas and mind and everything open. And once you've done that, the third and the most fundamental thing is continue to innovate. That is the only way out as far as I'm concerned as a development sector in my 30 years of experience and the way the world has changed almost forever post the pandemic. Our only option left is to innovate.
India is not a poor country. It is rich in resources, but it is still poor. Why it is so? Unless until we make use of the resources, nothing can be produced. So with this, I would like to start. And among the schemes, various schemes I have seen, I will put on the top priority was the Prime Minister's Employment Generation Program. These are the programs where there is a direct role played by the government. But this is a scheme where the government plays its role initially, but later on it is taken over by the entrepreneurs. When the entrepreneurs take over from the government, you take it from me, that is the thing where they can take it to the heights. So that is the reason why I would like to put this as Prime Minister's Employment Generation Program. I'm going to do that scheme in a very in-depth also. The next very important scheme was the Mahatma Gandhi Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme. What is this exactly the Mahatma Gandhi Rural Employment Scheme is? If you look at the rural country scenario, even today, the people will not have the continuous employment and minimum employment also. Taking into this account, in 2005, the government of India came out with a concept providing a minimum of 100 days of employment to the people. Deen Dayal Gramin Kaushalya Yojana, what exactly the government is hoping is to improve upon the Kaushalya, the skill of the people, and wherein which it is for the rural artisans also to think slightly differently and how they can do it. Then National Urban Livelihood Mission. This is National Urban Livelihood Mission. Here, the most of the days is operated by the civic bodies like, Nagara Sabhas, municipalities, and corporations. Here also the groups have been identified invariably. These are the self-help groups identified in these urban areas, and they are being given with the technical training and also the funding support to start their own livelihood missions. Then Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana, this is for the existing entrepreneurs to improve their productivity and also the go for an expansion of their projects, what they're having. Once the project is get expanded, it will take more and more employment. Then Pradhan Mantri Rozgar Protsahan Yojana. This is a Yojana targeting the existing entrepreneurs who had employed already the people, especially upper small scale industries or the medium scale industries. Then Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana. Again, this is a very important program that is developing the skill among the youth in the country. And if you just look at the statistics, about almost 1 million plus has been trained under the scheme. But unfortunate thing is, it is not totally met the objective of the scheme. And the objective of the scheme is very clearly said. If you train 100 people, get out the skill among 100, all the 100 should get employed. But nearly about 58 to 60% are employed and the 40% is to be employed. See, this is a very good scheme, and my wish is this has to be taken by the people to promote the employment in the rural areas. And this scheme implemented by the KVIB, Khadi Industries Board. Virtually, Khadi Industries Commission at the Government of India is the implementing agency, but they are implementing it through the Khadi Village Industries Board at the state levels. And the other partner for this is the DIC. It is DIC and KVIB, they jointly work together and identify the suitable beneficiaries after conducting the interviews and everything, forwarding it with the banks for consulting for the financial support. And in addition to this, DIC and KVIB offers the entrepreneurial training to these beneficiaries also. From this year onwards, there is a slight change is there in this program. What are slight changes saying? The now, earlier, the people used to go to the DAC or KVIP to file their application. Now, it is not at all necessary. It can be applied online. And for industry under this scheme, rupees 25 lakhs to a project up to 20 lakhs will be considered. That means the maximum funding support for an single unit is rupees 25 lakhs. In case of a service or business, the maximum funding support limited is rupees 10 lakhs only. And for all these age limit is above 18 years. The qualification for this is if any projection is going for industry project, if the loan amount is plus 10 lakhs, then he should have studied at least 8 standard. Similarly, in case of a service or a business, if it is amount is more than 5 lakhs, then minimum qualification needed is 8 standard. This is the qualification. And here one very important thing is there is no upper age limit. But keep one thing in mind, when you go to the bank people will not entertain more than 45 years of age. It should be less than 45 years of age. It is not officially done. It is being done for various reasons.
FETRS is not an implementing organization. We work with NGOs who are implementing programs in the at the grassroots level. During the relief, they conducted, supported the government agencies for carrying out their activities in the form of volunteers, various fields they have supported, supplemented the government programs, government services with resources, as well as with services, and taking them to remote places where otherwise it would have been remaining unattended. Awareness creation is something which most of our partners have done, and I think only CSOs are the best people for doing this because of our rapport that we have with the communities. And they also have a credibility. We also have a credibility established with the community so that they believe. Otherwise, if the government does that, it becomes another government program. So I don't want to go it like that. But we can make use of the government people for conducting this awareness program, and which will give more authenticity for the information that we are sharing. Provide psychosocial support for individuals and families. I think this is another area that we can focus about. We need to ensure that the people don't get into fear complexes because of the pandemic, and that will affect their psychosocial life also. But at the same time, we wanted them to be alert and maintain the COVID protocols. It will also be good that we give awareness for these people about the government programs. See, most of the people do not know what are the services which are available from the government for the affected areas and affected families, as well as the patients who are affected with that is about, it is also good that we create a community structure to supervise or oversee the relief operations that is going on in a particular place, because police patrolling people don't like, health personnel occasional visit people don't mind, but vigilant community structure, people listen to them and people take care of their opinion. And that is the best solution that we can do to prevent the spread disease. So that is how it, and I'm sure that most of you have done it and most of you are doing it. And in certain places, the requirement is still continuing and more place is being affected. When you talk about rehabilitation of these people or post-COVID interventions, we need to see that economic empowerment of the affected people is one of the main things that we need to focus on. If we have to focus on economic empowerment, then we have to give a special care for the migrant workers who are coming from the cities to their original places. They need to get a special focus in our interventions because they have lost their livelihood and as well as the income. Most of these people are unskilled or skilled due to the experience that they have gained over the years, or under-skilled or not having the relevant skills. That is a present situation to take up any other result. See, in rural area where the migrant labor are now living, the main source of income is the primary sector, which is already saturated enough with the workforce. It will not be able to accommodate more and more people into the primary sector field because it is already saturated and we will not be able to take it back. That is the present situation. So the migrant workers will become an added burden if we try to mainstream them into the primary sector. The second thing that we need to do is the job market survey. Otherwise, some people call it market study and all that, to find out what is the employment potential of the area. What are the jobs available? What are the jobs that we can create in that particular context? For that, what are the skills required? How much required? How much skills are required? What are the marketable skills? Which means you skill a person, but that job may not be available, but you can create the job there. New job can be created. Many a time we advertise in the different platforms and select people for the trade. Here we have the target group with us. So we need to start career counseling. When I say career counseling, it is basically to motivate these people to join the skill training and how it will benefit, what are the job opportunities, what will be the income, like that. We should counsel these people and make them to join the skill training. Before starting a skill training, I think we should have a skill development plan, which includes, it should be very clear as well as specific, as well as it should include what is the trade in which we are going to train the people, how many people we are going to train in that particular trade, how the training will be done, and how the trainees are going to be employed. You cannot simply say that, oh, this is a city, you can train drivers so they will get employment. No, that is only a wish. It is not a plan. A plan has to be very clear. Okay, if I train these people in garment making, this company will absorb them. Like that clear plan be there. Otherwise, after skilling, we will be wondering what we do with the skilled person, where it will go.
So with this, I would once again like to thank our partners and all the panelists. And now, without taking much time, I would just like to call Mr. Mahantesh Garuji, who is FEVOURD-K Bangalore Division's General Secretary. So, sorry, now it's time for you. So please go ahead and propose the vote of thanks. Thank you so much to all of you.
On behalf of Vishwa Yuvak Kendra and New Delhi and FEVOURD-K Bangalore and the entire fraternity of the VYK and FEVOURD-K, first of all, external my most sincere to the Almighty for making today's event as resounding success with blessing and grace. We are able to make this event what it was. On behalf of VYK and FEVOURD-K, I extended a really heartily vote of thanks to our speakers, Ms. Malini Gupta, Professor N. Ramesh, Mr. P.M. Philip, who spared time from their busiest schedule to grace of this occasion. Today, we had an opportunity to hear your thoughts, and this will surely be going to encourage use in the future of our works. Your thoughts have enlightened our minds and have shown us a new path of gratitude to all the speakers to gracing the occasion and sharing their experiences today. Thank you once again, Ramesh ji, Gupta ji, and Philips ji.
Thanks for watching. For more updates, please subscribe to our official YouTube channel and follow us here.